You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, happy Mercury day, and happy birthday to today's notable Scorpios, including David Schwimmer. Honestly, he gives off more of a Pisces vibe. Maybe that's just because he plays Ross in Friends, but okay, he's a little deeper than we thought. Nelly is also a Scorpio. Who else? Who else is popping up here? Nobody that I recognize, really. Oh, okay. Technology. What's technology doing? Anyway, if you are a Scorpio, if someone you know is celebrating a birthday today, let us know so we can celebrate them too. Nick is here. Rachel is here. Good morning from Rose. Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. I had to ask, what's the high today? It's definitely sunny outside right now, but yesterday it was rainy, giving fall vibes. Yeah, so I needed to wear a sweater today. Who knows if it'll last all day. Happy Wednesday. So I'm curious, before we dive into the forecast today, how is the energy feeling for you? Because we have a lot of duality we're going to be talking about in the forecast. Emotionally, things feel a little bit lighter than they have, but we have a major transit that we're going to break down, and that's Venus conjunct the South Node. Corby is feeling much better. Love to hear it. So I feel like there's a lot of releasing happening. That was a big theme that we talked about yesterday, even though we're under the first quarter moon, which is supposed to be taking action, moving forward. This eclipse season feels like it's kind of turned our emotions on their head. And in order to move forward, there's some baggage that we need to release. And that is pretty aligned with what we're going to be talking about today. Yes to the duality. We thought we'd be done with the duality in Libra season, but behold, it's just a part of life. Less Heavy had an interesting thing happen yesterday. Interesting. I was wondering how all of that fixed energy Aquarius moon would affect my partner, since he has that grand fixed cross. Yes, I remember now. And his moon in Aquarius in his 12th house. Probably a lot of releasing for him is just immediately. But very interesting, there wasn't tension at all. He was so comfortable that he ended up opening up to me, which was a huge step for him. Super cool to witness that tense energy in a positive way. And remember, when we talk about tension, when we talk about squares, they kind of force us to take action. And so the release doesn't necessarily have to be a blow up. It could just be like finally this plug being pulled and things coming out. That can be a release too. And it sounds like he was comfortable enough in that fixed energy to, like you said, open up. Had a dream last night, like someone was pulling me out of bed. Ooh, woke up 12:30, then went back to sleep. Was a scary dream. The veil is still thin. The veil is still thin. Sage your house. Did you sage your house yet? Oh, woke up feeling like I was going to struggle with low energy levels because we went out and had so much fun yesterday, but I feel like I have a lot of energy today. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So let's just get into the forecast, because everything y'all are saying is on point as usual. The sun is in Scorpio. The moon is about to move into Pisces. So we're under a void moon right now. But today's energy has sort of a sandwich effect, like surges of energy on either side of the day with a void moon in the middle. Let's start, though, with our major transit that we're feeling, and that is Venus conjunct the South Node. So if we pull up the chart here, this transit is exact at, I think 4 tonight, 4 this afternoon, Pacific time, 7 Eastern time. You can do the math. But you can see on the chart, Venus is, where are you, Venus? Over here, 13 degrees. The South Node is at 13 degrees. The North Node, of course, also at 13 degrees. So what's interesting is, there's just a little tidbit here. When I look into the transits that are playing out each day in the ephemeris, it always shows an opposition to the North Node rather than a conjunction to the South Node. We almost only refer to the North Node when we're talking about the North and South nodes and the aspects planets or signs are making to the North Node. But when we have an opposition to the North Node, it means there's a conjunction to the South Node. And for me, a conjunction to the South Node feels more like we're going to feel the South Node more than the North Node, although we're feeling them both. Okay, so that's my aside here. Been awake since 5:30, went to bed at 12:30, eclipse vibes. Yeah, that also makes sense with what's going on with the moon. But back to Venus and the South Node. What does this mean for us? Well, we've been talking a lot about Venus lately. Venus has been playing a big role in these eclipses, right? We had Venus conjunct the Sun, Venus cazimi, right at the beginning of Scorpio season. Then 2 days in, Venus was conjunct the eclipse. Now Venus is conjunct the South Node, really adding a layer to this awareness about our relationships, our love, and about money. All things ruled by Venus. Also beauty, too. So, as Venus in Scorpio is crossing over the South Node today, there could be past patternings that pop back up, relationship issues from the past, even people from the past could pop up, people that we were in relationship with. Maybe even beliefs about yourself, about beauty, about money could come up. Money problems that you used to have could creep into your current awareness. It doesn't necessarily feel like a retrograde where all of a sudden people from the past are going to pop back up, or there are going to be these like kind of glitches in the matrix, but it does feel like more of this internal awareness of past versions of ourselves. Because remember, the South Node represents our past, our comfort zone, maybe past lives, the lessons we came into this life already being pretty comfortable in. And the North Node is outside of our comfort zone. It's where we're going. It's the lessons we're meant to learn, the path we're meant to walk. And the North and South Node feel like they're almost on a spectrum. Like you can never be fully in the North Node or fully in the South Node. We're kind of somewhere in between, always trying to make our way more towards the energy of the North Node. But it's that duality, that opposition, right? In order to fully get out of our comfort zone, we have to release something that we're comfortable in. So that's where the energy of release is really coming up as we look at the transits today. As Venus makes a conjunction to the South Node, our relationships, our finances, even our aesthetics, our environment, our beauty could show us what needs to be released, what we're meant to let go of in order to embody that opposite energy and step further into the North Node. As Venus opposes the North Node, it's like we can clearly face and see what we're supposed to be doing, the direction we're heading, but we're also kind of wrapped up in this energy of the South Node that's keeping us small, keeping us in our comfort zone, keeping us safe. So rather than, if issues do pop up today, or even you could feel like you're a past version of yourself in a relationship or with money, the question to ask is, how am I contributing to the issues I'm having right now? How is my ability to relate to others affecting the external outcome that I'm perceiving, if that makes sense? Especially if you're having relationship issues, it's really easy to be like, oh, they're just acting like a past version of themselves, or they're doing this thing that annoys me. But really the power of this conjunction in Scorpio, this deeply introspective sign, is asking, how am I contributing to these issues? What patterns are coming up that I thought I might have released, or I thought I'd moved past, but that still kind of live inside me, or that are still easy to slip back into? This feels a lot like self-sabotage. And it's interesting because I have been really hard on myself, no secret, about just trying to get to this live stream earlier, trying to get into a routine, trying to get into a schedule. And today I naturally woke up early, but then decided to go back to bed. And I'm like, ooh, this is that South Node energy of just wanting to feel pleasure, wanting to feel comfort, especially with Venus being right there. Pleasure is really big, right? Like what feels good. And self-sabotaging. So in those moments, instead of beating ourselves up like, oh, I'm here again, how are we releasing those things? How can we use our own self-sabotage as a lesson? Like, okay, thank you for showing me what I don't want. Thank you for making it clear what I'm doing that's holding myself back and showing me the direction I want to go. Showing me what I don't want also shows me what I do want in life, right? So this can actually bring some clarity when we fully lean into the awareness of what's not working or what's holding us back. Now, also, I want to point out with this happening in Scorpio, you know, Scorpio is harsh, Scorpio is intense. So this could feel like a rude awakening at some point. You know, it could be that you're not even aware of your own self-sabotage and something happens today where you're like, oof, slap in the face. I am doing this to myself. And you might also witness other people sabotaging or other people falling back into patterns. Remember, with Scorpio energy, we want to control. It's easy to manipulate, but people have to learn these lessons for themselves. So rather than pointing the finger, take it back on yourself, use this energy to gain more self-awareness and let people have their own rude awakenings in their own time. Yeah, so that's the only like intensity we're feeling today. All of the other transits are very positive, very light, but self-sabotage. How are you holding yourself back? How are you keeping yourself in your comfort zone? Looked for the sage, but it wasn't in the place I remembered having it. Other than the dream last night, things have been fine. Well, that's good. That's good. But if I was you, I would be saging the heck out of my house. Might need to go buy some new sage. Yeah, Rachel, it was kind of like a release, and he just had a ton of realizations, hoping he still keeps releasing, letting go of that past baggage and healing from his childhood wounds. And remember, this conjunction to the South Node, we've really been feeling it for a couple days. That's part of the tension we started feeling yesterday. It could extend out a couple more days from here, especially a conjunction. There's like a 5-minute orb, or a 5-degree orb is what I'm trying to say, on either side of the conjunction. So really all week we're feeling this. And that's probably why a lot of us are just feeling that energy of letting go. The South Node represents what we're supposed to let go of in this lifetime in order to embody the energy we're meant to embody. Now I know how better to witness and support his healing journey when I can. And maybe for you, there's a little bit of a release there too, in witnessing him having his own release, like, oh, I don't have to make this happen for you. I've been there for sure. And I've learned the hard way that our partners, our friends, our parents, the people we're in relationship with, as we're talking so much about Venus today, have to learn these harsh truths on their own. And not even harsh truths, but understand their own energy on their own. Like, we can't make anybody be aware. You know, we can try, we can gently with love be like, hey, this is what I'm noticing. But unless people are open to receiving, they're not going to learn the lesson. So all my exes have been watching my IG stories. That is very much Venus conjunct the South Node. Ghosts of relationships past coming back. And again, it's not like this retrograde energy. I mean, a little bit, but I don't feel like it's like, oh, is there some potential there? I feel like if people from your past in general, not just, romantic relationships. If people from your past are popping back up this week, maybe they're here to remind you of a past version of yourself and what you've already let go of, or what maybe you still need to let go of. I also see this conjunction to the South Node almost as releasing resentment, especially with it happening in Scorpios. Scorpio feels a lot like resentment, that energetic connection we have with other people. Resentment is an energetic connection. Even if it was 10 years ago and, you're over it, you've moved on. If when you think of that experience or think of that person, you feel anger or resentment in any way, there's still an energetic connection there. So Venus conjunct the South Node also feels like an opportunity to cut the cord to past relationships, and therefore cut the cord to past versions of ourselves that we're still repeating or playing out or stepping into. Definitely feeling and experiencing it, says Corby. This song, this Taylor Swift song, Anti-Hero, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Every day, I've been wanting to use that song for the daily takeaway I post on Instagram, because it feels like that is just the energy of this week. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah, that is very much the energy of this week. And eclipse season in general, with the solar eclipse in Scorpio and the lunar eclipse in Taurus, it's on this axis that's really about our values and about understanding ourselves deeply, the energetic connections we have with other people. And unless we're willing to get real, hello Scorpio season, about how we play into those relationships, and unless we're able to really fully understand our own values, we can't really understand what we're bringing to relationships and maybe what we're not bringing to relationships, right? So yes, all of this, I am the problem. Yeah. Putting the magnifying glass back on me and how I'm showing up. Absolutely, Corby. You also had the conversation with your mom, Rachel says. It helped a lot, kind of got some information of my past that I can heal from. Feels like Venus conjunct the South Node. And that's a relationship too, right? Your relationship with your mom. And even the fear you talked about yesterday, or the hesitance of do I even want to go there? That could have been healing in itself, just reaching out and having a conversation and realizing, oh, maybe there was a past version of myself that was holding me back, or having resentment or preconceived notions about how that conversation would go. Nikki says, unfortunately, I did not sleep last night. Energy is heavy today. Oh, we're feeling for you. I think it'll get a little lighter, though. Just give yourself some rest. Rest is a key word that we'll be talking about as the forecast goes on. Never be sorry. Never be sorry. We love all the insights coming through. And yes, this is eclipse season. Yeah, no need to apologize ever. My South Node is in Virgo, letting go of that control. Yes, and perfectionism, all the things. Today's Pisces moon actually could help you lean more into your personal North Node, Corby, of just flowing and trusting. So, yeah, I can't stop listening to it. I saw so many people dressing up for Halloween as the problem, from that song. And they would say hi, it's me. I'm the problem. Hi, Katie. Yeah, driving your partner crazy with the nonstop Taylor Swift. So that's the main energy we're feeling today. What aspects of yourself are popping back up? What styles of relating that maybe you thought you've moved past are flaring back up to show you maybe there's some lingering things here that we need to release, that we need to finally let go of, so we can embody more of our North Node. And this is a collective thing too, the North Node in Taurus right now in general, as we make our way a week from now towards this lunar eclipse in Taurus, it's really illuminating the direction we're supposed to go. And here in the US, it's happening on election day. So, this is a great day to also think about collectively the direction we all want to head and what individually we can do to embody the Taurus North Node a little bit more, because when one of us raises our vibration, it raises the vibration of our community and really of humanity. Like, your energy is so important to the energy of the world. You might seem small, or feel, I should say, small and insignificant, but energetically we're all connected. And so even you just coming up a little bit brings the people around you up a little bit, and then there's a ripple effect. So the North Node in Taurus, how can we be more deeply rooted in our values? How can we be more sustainable? How can we be more comfortable? And not necessarily comfortable like our comfort zone, but comfortable as humans in this physical world. What would make life feel just a little bit more comfortable? So we often have to release resentment and the things that are holding us back from that ease in order to fully find it. I've been getting clarity on what I need to be whole. Again, Katie, always with the thing I need to hear. Taurus energy feels like wholeness, and even making our way towards the Taurus lunar eclipse feels like this culmination point, this wholeness. And so maybe this conjunction to the South Node is revealing to us even more, as we're pulling away from the solar eclipse on the South Node, what is keeping us from being whole. Noticing that it's in everybody's best interest for me to have my needs met, and getting clearer on your own values too. Beautiful, beautiful. Hi, Bob. You feel like Venus conjunct the South Node today, and I'm happy you're here. Sorry, but the movement of planets millions or billions of miles from us have no bearing on our lives here on Earth. It's interesting because we're going to go talk about the moon right now, and the moon literally controls all of the water on Earth. It's pretty far from Earth, miles-wise. Anyway, feeling a little sassy. Not going to let my full Scorpio energy come out on you, though, because that would be a little too far into the South Node, and we are releasing that today. But just had to chime in there. Okay, so let's talk about the moon, this planet, this body that controls our bodies and all of our water here on Earth, and very energetically affects us, very much so. The moon has been in Aquarius for most of the morning. Yeah, gotta love that. Moon and Scorpio sting. Yeah. I try not to pay attention to the haters, but it's Scorpio season. Thank you. So the moon has been in Aquarius all morning. And for those of you who said you couldn't sleep, or you woke up with more energy than you thought you would have, this is why. The moon and Mars harmonized at 4 a.m. Pacific time. So remember, this is the first quarter moon in Aquarius. In general, there was a lot of tension with the moon in Aquarius, the sun squaring it in Scorpio. So yesterday we talked a lot about doing things differently. How can we do things differently? The moon harmonizing with Mars gives us that pep in our step to start early, or maybe it just created a difference in your routine without you really asking for it. People saying they woke up super early, thought they would be energetically drained, but actually had more energy than they thought they would. So the moon and Mars in this harmony kind of jolted many of us awake. Again, this was 4 a.m. Pacific time. So maybe 5 a.m. you woke up, or, you just had your sleep disrupted a little bit sometime in the middle of the night. Even Nick saying that he woke up at 12:30. The moon and Mars were getting pretty close to each other at that point. So don't be surprised if you woke up feeling a burst of energy, and use it while you have it. If you're still feeling the energy, use it while you have it, because now the moon is void. The moon is void for about another hour and a half or so. So we started the day off on this strong note, this energetic note, followed by a little bit of a lull. And remember, when the moon is void, it's kind of a nice time to tie up loose ends, to cross anything lingering off of our to-do list, finish anything that, or even close out anything that popped up while the moon has been in Aquarius the past 2 days. If there's anything that you started over the past couple days, this could be a time to kind of close it out. If there are any open ends, right now is the time to just close the lid. I don't know what I'm trying to say, and move so we can move on to the next energy with sort of a clean slate. And I would say if you have to start something new today, wait to start it until afternoon, because that is when the moon moves into Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, the most sensitive sign of the zodiac. The moon will be in Pisces pretty much through the end of the week. Thanks, guys. You guys are sweet. Not my first rodeo with the haters. I worked in TV news for 7 years, okay? I am very used to the haters at this point. The textbook in my college astronomy class said that astrology was a pseudoscience. I've seen a ghost and UFOs before. I want to hear what the planets have to do with astrology. Interesting. I love that this is coming up too as we are just getting into the Pisces moon, all about mystical, magical, energetic, what's not fully understandable for our human brains here. That's the Pisces energy. And, you know, astrology is really math. I mean, it's based in the Pythagorean theorem and like the studies of Pythagoras. It's literally just looking at what angles the planets are making to each other in relation to us here on Earth. So, you know, it's math. It's not anything super crazy. Of course, the energies of the planets have been observed for thousands of years. So it's math with the woo-woo infused into it, you know, with observation. I shouldn't even say the woo-woo, with thousands of years of observation infused into these mathematical equations, if you will. And what is science if not observation? You know, you can literally think of like Newton throwing an apple in the air and observing gravity. That is what we now study in science. So I won't go on my full astrology rant, but just because it doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean it doesn't make sense to other people too. And the haters can never get me down, my friends, because look at this support I have with all of you. Yay! Okay, let's talk about the Pisces moon, because Corby's a Pisces moon. She's about to have her lunar return. Rachel says, get ready for the waterworks. So glad. I know I'm sensitive during water moons. Better to prepare myself. Yeah, but they're heavenly bodies with gravity, like the moon's gravity affecting the tides. Exactly. And if you think about it, the whole solar system that we are currently in right now on this planet that's floating, it's all based on gravity and magnetism, right? All of the planets are being pulled by the sun's magnetism. So of course, if there's this giant magnet in the middle and all of us are circling around the same magnet, us being the planets, we're all going to feel each other's energy, right? Like, you could literally even just picture it with like a giant magnet, and if you put little pieces of metal around, how they're going to affect each other based on the pull towards the magnet. That's why I'm not a science teacher, but that's my best explanation of the energy affecting us. I love math. I think that's why I'm so attracted to astrology, just doing all those calculations, figuring out those transits. Yeah, I used to love geometry too, and it's very much based in geometry with the angles the planets are making. Ooh, my daughter was angry yesterday. Scorpio rising, Aquarius sun, Capricorn moon. Looking forward to picking her up under a Pisces moon. She has a Pisces stellium, so it softens her. I love that. Yeah, the tension was high. The tension was high. Hopefully she's a little bit more in that flowy energy when you pick her up from school today. So the moon in Pisces, let's talk about it. The waxing gibbous moon in Pisces. As we make our way towards the full moon, the moon is gaining more and more light every night. And this is the time in the moon's phase where we're really refining and moving forward. So we're gathering more data, we're making some adjustments. And with this waxing gibbous moon in Pisces, our sensitivity is our superpower. A note on sensitivity. I know I say this quite a bit, but sensitivity doesn't just mean emotional sensitivity or like crying or, being like able to be set off like that. That's a lot of the time what we think of when we think of sensitivity, like someone who just cries so easily or gets overly emotional. But remember, sensitivity means heightened senses. So our ability to perceive energy, our ability to pick up on other people's emotions is a superpower under the Pisces moon. And that emotional data that we're taking in, that energetic data that we're taking in, that creative energy that we're able to tap into can help us to refine and move forward, to figure out what are we releasing during this eclipse season, what are we bringing in. And it's not necessarily an active, what am I trying to say? It's not like an act of doing it. Like, okay, I need to release this thing so I can move forward because it's eclipse season and we're not in control. But it's more of this awareness of the energetics of what's falling away and what we're calling in. With the veil being thin, very thin still, it's only November 2nd. Messages from the beyond could be very powerful today, could illuminate the path ahead as well. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like you don't know what direction you're going in the middle of eclipse season, join the club, right? Ask for a sign under the Pisces moon. And especially late tonight, it's a powerful time to ask for a sign because the moon and Mercury make a harmonious connection, a trine, around midnight. So you can see on the chart here, if I jump ahead, the moon at 5 degrees, Mercury is at 7 degrees. So actually, let me jump ahead here. And right at midnight is when the moon and Mercury are harmonizing. That dark blue line, that trine, 120-degree angle to bring it back to geometry. And the reason, like, let me just explain, put my science teacher hat back on for a moment. The reason this is a balanced angle or a harmonious angle is because it makes a triangle if you have 3 of them, an equilateral triangle representing balance. And the triangle has been a sign of balance and ascension and harmony for centuries. Cultures around the world have used the triangle as a symbol of balance. So this angle between the moon and Mercury makes one side of an equilateral triangle or a balanced triangle, which is why the energies flow very easily with one another when we're talking about the astrological influence. So there's my other little science tidbit about why this is considered a balanced angle. The moon and Mercury harmonizing bring our head and our heart into harmony, our emotions and our mind into harmony. So insights can come through very easily. We can process our emotions through our mind very easily. And with this harmony, this trine playing out in water signs, our intuition is definitely heightened tonight. And that's why I say ask for a sign. Ask for a message from the beyond. You know, if you still have your altar set up, if you're someone who celebrates Dia de los Muertos or All Saints Day, this is a time to ask if your ancestors are still around, ask if they have any messages for you. And of course, you know, it's believed that All Saints Day, Dia de los Muertos, is the day that the dead can come back to the earthly realm just for one day. But we know our guides, our ancestors are always communicating with us. They're always sending us messages. So with that being said, we can still ask for signs and know that our ancestors are not too far away. Our guides are never too far away, right? So this is really the night and the afternoon in general to open your perception, open up your sensitive senses. Yes, we're highly sensitive, but that sensitivity can allow us to receive more information. And this is the moon's phase where we're taking in a little more information, becoming a little more aware, finding out what else do we need to know before the lunar eclipse, before this culmination point we're heading toward next week. How do we use this? Keep a notepad handy late tonight with the moon and Mercury harmonizing. Ideas could come through too, creative ideas with this watery trine playing out. Inspiration could pop up. So keep a notepad handy. If anything fun or creative comes through, write it down. And if you're looking for guidance, all you have to do is simply ask for it. Ooh, decided to wear my dad's toque today. He's with me. Beautiful. I love that. And he's probably very close by, feeling very proud that you're wearing something of his. And so if you're feeling lost, sometimes it's not even me feeling lost. Sometimes it's like, well, I haven't heard from you in a while. Could you send me a message and then something pops up and I'm like, okay, you're here still. Cool. Thanks. I think this is not necessarily based in astrology. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is also random, but a fake account on Instagram that's using my name is watching my live right now. Can you please stop impersonating me? Oh my goodness. What are you going to do? I don't know if that's Venus conjunct the South Node or what it is, but gonna have to report them. Olivia DeGennaro 2. You're not me. Anyway, feeling that spicy Scorpio-ness coming out today for sure. It's a different one. It's a new one. I've had like 4 fake accounts made of me. There's really nothing we can do. Yeah. I still have the rose and candy out for my gram. Maybe I'll do another card pull for her to finish celebrating her and thank her. Yeah, I have a piece of candy on my altar too because my great-grandma loved candy. And we are doing no processed sugar until Thanksgiving. And trust me, it is tempting. But I'm like, nope, that's for her. That's for you. I'm going to leave that for you to have, and I'm not going to touch it. But, that late night sweet tooth, I'm like, I know there's a piece of candy sitting right there. Yes, if any fake accounts fall, I only have one Olivia DeGennaro account. So if any fake accounts follow you, block them, report them so they don't do the same thing to you. I know, watching live, like how bold are you going to be? Wild. I know, so many people have said that. At first I got excited because I thought it was you. I will follow you, but don't be fooled by these fake accounts. Yeah, block them. It is. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. And I'm not super worried about it. It's more just almost every time this happens, like I get a flood of messages. Is this you? Is this you? Is this you? And then I spend a lot of time responding to people saying, it's not me. Please report them. And then they start asking people for money and, using my name. Not great. This is really a problem happening in the spiritual community, but just on Instagram in general. And yeah, they're full of fake accounts now. And I know there was like this glitch earlier in the week where people were saying, oh, I think Instagram is finally getting rid of all of these fake accounts. But yeah, I've been hacked before, reported. That's what worries me too. If people are messaging you from these fake bot accounts that they're trying to get into your information. And I would hate for my energy or my name to be tied to that. So, I'm going to be passive aggressive and wave at them through the Instagram live. Okay, so that's the energy of today. For the most part, emotionally, we're feeling pretty positive. There's a lot of positive aspects to Mars, to Mercury, between the moon. Yeah, I will never DM you asking you for money or for a reading. You can just book a reading through my website if you ever want a reading from me. I don't reach out to people. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. That's the energy. Feeling pretty positive, but emotionally we're positive. There could still be a few skeletons in the closet that are popping back out for us to resolve them, become aware of them, and release them with Venus conjunct the South Node. And maybe you've already been feeling that for the last couple of days, but emotionally things feel much lighter today. Our affirmation of the day, my sensitivity is my superpower. As the moon moves into Pisces, remember that if you're feeling sensitive in any way, if you're feeling overly stimulated, that's sensitivity. If you're feeling overly emotional, that's sensitivity as well. But there is data, there's information that those emotions, those feelings are trying to show you. So don't discount that sensitivity. Thank it. Thank you for showing me something I might not have seen if my perception wasn't as open as it is right now. Your sensitivity is your superpower. And as we've been talking so much about the South Node, the North Node, the light, the dark, the duality, I want to pull from the Light Seers Tarot. So this is your chance. Ask any final questions you have. Let me know what plans you have today. How this aspect, this transit, Venus conjunct the South Node, has been popping up for you. What I just noticed too about the cover of this oracle deck is that her eyes are closed. I don't know if you can see it, but there are eyeballs that you can also see through the eyelids. And that feels like a great representation of this South Node, North Node energy we talked about at the beginning of the episode. The South Node being the things that are unseen or that might be hiding in the dark, whereas the North Node is clearer. It's easy to see where we're supposed to be going. And it could feel like that today, like closing your eyes brings you a little more clarity than keeping your eyes wide open. That's very much aligned with the Pisces moon too. Sometimes if I'm trying to get inspiration or trying to gain understanding of something, closing my eyes helps me get there faster. It's like I'm not as stimulated by what's going on around here, and I can just be in my own brain and my own connection to source, whatever, beyond. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling highly sensitive, close your eyes for a second. See what visuals come through, or just like give your eyeballs a rest. You know, the eyes are the windows to the soul. Our eyes are very sensitive. So if you're feeling overly stimulated, that's my little pro tip, my hack for you. Just close your eyes for a second. Really simple, really easy. Okay, let's go ahead and pull a card together. If you are joining me live or if you're finding this video later, let's just take this moment all together to take a nice deep breath, the deepest breath you've taken all day today, clearing out any stagnant energy, anything that's no longer serving us. Here we go. Breathe in. And release. What do we need to know? The Hierophant. I don't know if I'm saying this card correctly. Let me know if I'm not. It's a guy laughing at the base of a set of stairs. The Hierophant. Let's see. Card number 5. One of the main cards in the deck. I don't think I've ever pulled this one in any decks. Let's see. Tradition, a lesson, spiritual leader or guide, enlightenment, awakening, in service of spirit, formal education or training, new paradigms. As you search for your divine truth, as you create frameworks of belief, you expand your consciousness and ground your faith into this reality. If you've been stuck in an old tradition or a structured way of acting or being that is no longer serving you, it's time to let it fall away in order to make space for a better version of you. The Hierophant serves as a gateway between divine source and the seeker. So be open to new paradigms, perspectives, and teachers in your life. Look to the patterns around you and strive to understand your own internal compass. Know that while there is wisdom in teachings of the mystics, the voice of your own heart is the one voice that matters the most. Find the wisdom of the heavens within. I am my own guru, and the guidance I need is rooted in my faith, my belief, and my unique essence. It's really cool that we got this card the day after we pulled the wisdom card, because yesterday we talked about the moon making a conjunction to Saturn, maybe seeking advice from people with more wisdom than us. And today's card reminds us that all the wisdom we need is actually within us, that we are our own best teachers, and observing our own patterning, observing our own emotions, releasing what's no longer serving us is a way that we can guide ourselves, right? And step further into the direction we're meant to go, further into the teachings that we're meant to learn. So this card is the perfect card to represent Venus conjunct the South Node and opposing the North Node. There is this element of feeling good. What feels good for you? You know, are you self-sabotaging for a quick fix to feel good? What long-term would feel good? If you put yourself out of your comfort zone just a little bit, how would that stretch you to find new ways of feeling good, to feel even better than you've ever felt before? This is this card. I am my own guru, and the guidance I need is rooted in my faith, my belief, and my unique essence. This also is a reminder, the moon is in Pisces. Trust in a power greater than yourself, and trust that whoever brought us here, whatever's in charge of all the planets and all the things, put that divine inspiration in you, gave you the wisdom that you need. You know, you're wiser than you think. Yeah. Such a perfect card. So aligned. I trust myself and my intuition and wisdom. Really feeling that shedding before the lunar eclipse, Katie says. Yeah. It does feel like a shedding. It's really interesting. Eclipse season kind of turns things on its head, and even this moon cycle feels like this opposite energy of the normal building that we're feeling. It's more of a shedding to make room for whatever is going to be illuminated at that lunar eclipse. Oh my gosh. The monkeys talked about in the movie Head about being in one's own mind. Yes. Rachel says, was just thinking after my conversation with my mom, take what resonates from others, but still know your truth. Yes. Yeah. Seeking external wisdom is helpful, but what I have learned is rather than seeking external perspectives to be like, okay, what should I do? Tell me what to do. Instead, look at it like, okay, what's your perspective of the situation and how does that resonate with me? How is that showing me a deeper truth about myself? Sometimes we can get stuck in our own mind and like, okay, like, what do I think? What do I feel? We can get a little lost up here, at least I can. And talking with other people helps us understand our own feelings, our own intuition better just by having that mirror, that person to bounce off of. There's wisdom in learning from our guides, ancestors, and mentors, but ultimately, it is our own internal wisdom that we need to follow and integrate with the wisdom from others. Yes. Powerful insights coming through today. Rachel says, I haven't felt this way in a long time. I think the eclipse season is working its magic on you, Rachel, kind of helping you shed some things that you've been holding on to. And today is a day that I am reminded why I love doing these shows live, because it truly is a co-creation between all of us. You all providing your input, your insights, being mirrors for me to pull through things from my own intuition. And that is really everything we've been talking about. Of course, I'm not coming on here and saying, okay, like, what do you think we should talk about today? What does the energy feel like to you? And only talking about what the energy feels like to you. I'm using my intuition, my wisdom, my knowledge, and each of you are reflections of that and bringing through other perspectives that help more deeply root my own intuition and my own wisdom. Hopefully that made sense to you. Doing a liver cleanse, good detox, getting rid of poisons. Great time to do it during eclipse season. Thank you for being here, Corby. I love that you're here. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits Today. I will be back tomorrow for Jupiter Day to talk more about the Pisces moon and how we can tap into our intuition, how we can further embody our superpower of sensitivity. The light's getting dark in here. As I'm about to wrap up, it feels very Pisces, very mystical. I hope you all have a beautiful day ahead. Thank you for being here, Katie. The energy feels more positive listening to your show. Well, I am so grateful that I can be a positive part of your day, Nick. That makes me very happy. Have a great day, Rachel. Have a beautiful rest of your day. To everybody watching, everybody who finds this video, I will see you all right back here tomorrow morning. But until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.